It really would, yeah.
Hi Brian, how are you?
Now, let's go over this way, just behind the thing here. A little bit breezy here this morning. Jenny?
Breezy,
the lads
but
are setting
beautiful.
up. Who are you saying hello to there?
Brian from Nutrilicious Food Company.
How are you, Brian? Come here for a second. Are you well? It's a lovely, lovely day this morning.
So far, so good.
Brian, the farmers market, you're back.
We are, thank God.
And is this the first day or was it last
No,
week?
we were here last week again. Very busy last week, so hopefully again we'll do the same this week. The weather helps an awful lot too.
When you say very busy last week, what did that mean, like in terms of sales compared to other times?
Well, there was nobody out for the last couple of months, so people were just glad to get out and just buying for the sake of it, which was fairly good. So hopefully we'll do the same again this week. Well, there wasn't a huge crowd around, if you know what I mean, because we do kind of a lot of online ordering as well, so people would actually ring up prior to it and have stuff put away, so they're here and they're gone within 30 seconds.
Come back to you later.
Thank you very much.
That's it, actually. Brian and his wife Yvonne have a very agile business model anyway, that they were able to adapt very quickly to this. So they were able to go and do deliveries of their food, and because they're not a static retail outlet, they had that mobility. That they were enabled to do that straight away. So a lot of people didn't actually have to do without their weekly portions of Nutrilicious food.
Looking here, and it's a little bit of activity, and it's great to see. Obviously, Grattan Square, the commercial heart of Dungarvan, it's never seen anything like this the last 10 weeks.
God, no, for sure. It's completely unprecedented. That's an overused word, but I think that, you come by some days and you think, all right, this is a bit of a novelty, and then the more often that you're coming by when the square is empty, it's very worrying. There's been some evenings I've left the office very late and I've gone up the quay and through up by the bridge, looked into Garvey's car park. There isn't a car in there. There's no cars on the quay. It's more deathly quiet than it would be on a Christmas night, and that's really, really difficult to try and comprehend. How are we going to come back from this, and what are the impacts that this is actually having? I think people have been fantastic so far. They've been very understanding. Everybody's adapted very well, but it's more in 3 months' time that I'm worried for, because I think that at that stage it's like there's a cycle of grief going on here as well, and I think that we haven't seen the anger or the frustration or any of that yet, and so that's going to be more to the fore in a few months' time. I also think that there'll be a lot of perhaps resentment out there about what did happen during COVID and what could have happened, and if things worked different ways, there'll be huge amounts of analysis, and I just fear that because people will be perhaps in a very desperate state financially, or others will still be trying to work through what are they going to do with children because there are no childcare facilities open and granny can't mind the children, and how can they get back to work? There'll be workplaces who have jobs but who can't give them to people, and any bit of cash that has been put aside in businesses will most certainly have been used, because the investment that this is costing to make businesses ready for reopening is massive. There is a restart grant available for, we'll say, rate-paying businesses, and that's a great help, but it still will not cover the shadow of the cost of the refurb perhaps in some places, or just the changes that are necessary.
Let's walk and talk, and we're walking past the Bank of Ireland here, which obviously has been closed. So that's another sign, bank's been closed.
No, that bank is open actually, Damien.
Very good.
We're happy.
Has it been open all the way through?
Yes, it has. Yeah, no, they've obviously implemented social distancing immediately, so there's been no issue with that at all. Yeah, so that's very good, because I think once banks and post offices close, then you may as well forget about the necessity to come to town sometime.
So Dan Fraher, 1852 to 1929, scholar and sportsman, lived here. Fraher Field named after him. We're passing by some clothing stores, and this is Willow and Oak, and obviously some restaurants and pubs. Walk down past Paddy Foley's, down past the local. There is talk of changes with the public realm and trying to help businesses like this going forward. Nagel's Bar here as well. What do you think of this idea of making Grattan Square more accessible to pedestrians?
I think that this needs to be viewed as not necessarily to help specifically publicans and restaurants. I think that this is a movement that people want, that there's an outdoor culture built here in any case, and there's a desire for development of that. Also, our culture shifted, Damien, smarter travel. People are more willing to walk and cycle than they ever have before. We've got wide footpaths. It can accommodate street furniture as it is. But, you have to look at desire, and I'm talking like global, obviously, but certainly around Ireland, there is a desire to utilise our outdoor space an awful lot more and make the public realm more attractive. And I think it should be explored in Dungarvan more. We have a wonderful opportunity to start discussions about it, but it's not specifically for one sector. It's actually to encourage more people back in to socialise and to use our civic space so that it's for all of us. It's not for one particular sector.
Well, let's say, for example, if you took half or a third of Grattan Square and turned it into a cafe culture, as you say, not just cafes, but if you took it into that amenity space, would that be something even to look at as a possibility?
It could be, with stakeholder involvement. I'm not saying yay or nay right now, because I think that there's an awful lot of discussion, but I just think that this has certainly been a catalyst for that discussion. Interestingly, the council said yesterday, and that's Finn Brophy in the council who said yesterday, that Main Street will have to lose its parking to cope with the restrictions from COVID, the way the regulations are set out at the moment. So that will be no parking on that street. In any case, it doesn't matter if there's a chair or a table, but why not put a few chairs and tables down there? Why not put a few flowers and flower beds down there? So that's what I'm saying. It's about exploring, but it's about having like a proper discussion and including all the stakeholders. And the stakeholders aren't necessarily just just the businesses from the square. They're everybody who uses it, and we need to find out how they use it, why they use it, and what their reason is for coming in.
And we walk and talk a bit more, passing by Ladbrokes. Again, the sign on it, it says closed until March 29th. That's a long time ago. Bookies are still closed.
They're always optimists though, aren't they?
The betting is when they're going to reopen. Ormond's Cafe, we've got the Gourmet House as well. Barber shops, again, another area that has been badly hit. And we don't know what's going to happen there. Helen and Trina, please stay safe. Closed until further notice. Newsagents. Pharmacies, again, one of the areas that have done a lot of good work and a lot of massive work, but again are suffering as well. We heard from pharmacies that a lot of people aren't going in, obviously, buying makeup and things like that and moisturisers. So their profits are down. Some talk of pharmacies being in trouble in the future.
Oh, for sure. The disposable... The disposable journey that you would have had in a pharmacy is not there anymore. It's very functional what you do now. And so I completely see that their retail offering has been completely decimated. And so we've got to consider them in the lines of retail also. Now, some of them do have apps and some of them have utilised online platforms and that. But still, they certainly have been hit very, very hard. And so it's important that we're aware of the needs of all types of businesses.
Gift shops here, obviously tourism is going to be decimated this year. We look around, there's James's men's shop, there's the credit union down there. We'll come up here past the takeaways, Roma takeaways. Obviously some takeaways have been doing fairly well.
They have, and Damien, our food offering here is amazing, and it always was beforehand, but when you can have the likes of, we'll say, real Italian Roma Genoas, and also then right through to award-winning Indian Ocean, Moorings, Tannery, 360's opening this weekend, the Old Bank. Like, we are spoilt, and we can get takeaway from all those places. Two Sisters, another one we're looking at. The Shamrock, what everybody's been missing, is opening this weekend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so so we've been spoilt, and we continue to be spoilt, and it's wonderful that people are able to that they've adapted and that they're able to offer their goods and services to loyal customers. Fantastic.
There's Rossiter's Butchers. I know a lot of loyal customers in there. Again, keeping going. More hairdressers, Williams Ladies and Gents closed, the Square Grill, takeaways, the Enterprise Bar, obviously. It's a beautiful square. It really is there's a lovely, lovely feeling here to it.
There's always been, there's a great energy here, and it's a wonderful social space. It's a place that you could potter around or walk slowly, and you're sure to engage in an awful lot of conversations if you want to. So for that purpose, the square is multifunctional. It's not just for retail, it's not just for service, it's actually quite social as well, and so we're absolutely so lucky to have that as a starting point. And also just the public realm here is very attractive as it is, and to be considering that we can actually up our game here as regards public realm and presentation is another opportunity for us to take.
What is Dungarvan West Waterford Chamber going to be looking for from government in the next 6 months?
More support for businesses in the likes of the Restart Grant, the Continuity Voucher, so continued supports of that nature. But because nobody knows when the end of this is or where the end of this is, it's very difficult to be specific so early in your ask. So I think it's that the government be open-minded. A waiver of rates would be a no-brainer immediately. I really think that tourism businesses need an awful lot of help, and the continuity of the wage subsidy scheme as well would be really important to try and help those businesses re-establish, that people can come back from being, we'll say, unemployed to the wage subsidy scheme would be really important to try and get people restarted again.
So we're back at the corner here with the front of the Bank of Ireland. The market setting up, flowers, there'll be fish, there'll be fruit. It's sunny.
There'll be crepes, there'll be blahs, it'll be fabulous. Yeah, it's the ultimate space, it's the ultimate day to be here. It's a sunny day, it's beautiful, and like I said, it's social as well. So and Dungarvan is just a lovely place to potter around. The geography of it, that you can actually just continue a loop and come back to the same place. So you can be aimless here and enjoy it.
Jenny, thank you very much.
Welcome, pleasure.